All right. All right. All right. Let's see what's going on here. I think we're almost, that 5-minute candle is almost closed. All right. We got 30 seconds left for that 5-minute candle. Let's see what's going on here. I think we're almost, that 5-minute candle is almost closed. All right. We got 30 seconds left for that 5-minute candle. Let's see what's going on here. I think we're almost, that 5-minute candle is almost closed. All right. We got 30 seconds left for that 5-minute candle. What happens here. We got that 5-minute candle range. Now let's see what happens if we can break out of this range and see what happens here. We got potential to both sides. A very tight range though. We got that 5-minute candle. Very tight 5-minute range. Now let's see what happens. I don't like that. Break out of this range. Got potential to both sides. A very tight range. Got that 5-minute candle. Very tight 5-minute range. Now let's see what happens. I don't like that. Break out of this range and all right. All right, breaking out of the range to the downside. We're about to start hitting view wob down there. All right, bouncing off of view up. I think we swept data highs now. Seeing what happens here. Yeah, oh, at 8? It was at 8:30, I think, right? 8. That was news candle. 8:30, yeah, it was news. Yeah, that news candle, the range on that news candle is pretty crazy. We just took out the high of it. So, we could be going lower. Maybe. See what price does here. It's kind of holding view op, holding the 200. If you go, where would your TPB number wise? I don't know yet. I mean, I want to see if this thing still has, I mean, this thing as of now is still bullish, right? It's not confirming. There's a lot of support down there, so this thing could still rip up. It just depends on price structure when, if I do go long, it depends on how the structure is, where I go long. It's hard to say, like I can't say now. I would have to see if when I get in. But then, you know, TP would have to be the next liquidity point, wherever that is, at the time I get in, whatever the next liquidity point is. Typically around a 1-to-1. Alright, we're starting to get some selling pressure. I don't like that this range is so tight. That's the only thing that kind of sucks. That 5-minute range is very tight. Starting to break down. It looks like we're... Is this one of those days where we just break out of that range and just dump for the rest of the day? Oh, what news? Do we have news today? Let's see. Forex Factory. Obviously I would news at 8:30. 10:30 natural gas. Not really. Yeah, let me. Man, I gotta turn on that. What's it called? AC. All right. We're still holding view op, so we're pushing above view op. Let's look on the different time frames. See what potentially. Once this start breaking below view op, I mean, we got pivot down there too. So not only do we have a view op support here, the 200, we also have a pivot point down there. All right, it's breaking view op. It's very... A lot of selling pressure coming in. Are we still on... Yeah, I still am, yeah. I gotta figure out when to... Let me actually... Typically, it tells me when to roll over. I don't know why it's not, When does, okay. In Q... NQ Futures, September... On the 3rd Friday of September. Okay. So on the 3rd Friday of September for 20-minute contract is set to September 19th is when the contract expires. So right now, you know, it's 11th. So we're going to be rolling over probably the end of this, probably Monday. So, wow, this thing is just... Yeah, I'll typically wait. I usually get a notification on Ninja Trader. It usually gives me a notification about the rollover to roll over. But the 19th, definitely by the 19th. It's the 11th today, so... Wow, this thing is... We're below view op. It's looking ugly for the... Starting to push back up, trying to retest the 200 in VWAP. Man, that's a bummer. No, there's no red folder today. We today's what, Thursday? Yeah, it's no red folder news. We had it at 8:30. There was already red folder at 8:30. That's why you see that this nasty wick right here. That was 8:30 news. Honestly, we could be wanting to run to data lows now. So we took out data highs and started to dump. Gosh, that sucks. See what happens. I mean, we're pretty much stuck at VWAP. We're right below VWAP, so yeah. By data, I mean news. So we had news at 8:30, but we don't have any news at 10 or. I think we have. I keep exiting out, but I think we should have some. For actually no news tomorrow either. Wow. Actually, I mean, no, I'm lying. We have 10 a.m. news tomorrow. Michigan sentiment is orange folder, so it could have some impact. $890s. I mean, I think, yeah, I think at this point, I mean, it could. There's a pivot, 890s. Obviously, data lows, a lot of liquidity sitting down there, so data lows are a big one. But, you know, if it starts getting above VWAP, it starts to look a little more bullish. Right now we're below it, so trying to bounce, kind of bounce off that pivot point. That's the thing. It's like you gotta let the market do what it's gonna do. Can't really, you know. Look at that push up, dang. You looking for a long? Possibly. We just pushed up above VWAP, so I am possibly looking for a long. If I can get a setup. It's starting to form that bullish gap right above the VWAP. Actually, I'm speaking too soon. That candle has not closed. We got 15 seconds left. This could fill still. Yeah, it's a weird area. We have an imbalance here. We got an imbalance here that it could reject off of. Let's see what happens here. Is it gonna want to keep running up, or is this just a retracement up for another leg move down? That's the big question. What's your setup process? Typically I look for... Now this is kind of... what sucks about today is the range is too tiny. Range is very small, but what I look for is a break out of the range, the 5-minute range, and then a closure back inside with a bullish gap for an entry for the next liquidity. But this is like, what sucks is it's dropped so much below the range. Now it's like at the top. We're at the top of the range, so it's like this could be a rejection point. It could just be, you know, moving up. We could reject off the bottom of this range, but we're right above view op, so it could go either way. This could be one of those days where we're just gonna go lower and lower. See, we're starting to reject off the bottom of that range. Yeah, we'll find out soon. If only I could figure out a way to know what happens before it happens, I would be rich. We did leave a bullish gap. Here's the thing though, it's like this bullish gap, I don't think it's a good idea to take that bullish gap. I think we're gonna, personally, I think we're gonna break that bullish gap and go lower. I think this gap is gonna get inversed. I think we're just gonna drop through the lows personally. I know a lot of people are probably gonna try to long this. I don't think it's a good idea to long this. I think it's gonna drop through it, but what do I know? Maybe it fills it and rips to the upside. That's possible. Yeah, shorts kind of more in play. But the only thing about shorts is we're like right above VWAP, which is kind of like, you know, it's a dangerous area to take shorts when you're right above VWAP. You're kind of hoping that it breaks through VWAP, because VWAP is a huge support level. As you could see, it's bouncing right off VWAP. This is a crucial point, right? Either we break up and we start ripping to the highs, or we break down and we just like start going for those data lows. I think data lows are more in play than these highs, but we'll see. I mean, if I can get a setup, maybe I'll take a trade. I need more confirmation. Long's looking good. Yeah, that's the thing, is like shorts look good and longs look good at the same time. Right? Longs look good because we're above VWAP. We're above the 200. We're bouncing off this gap. Shorts look good, right? We're kind of, right now we're starting to form kind of like a lower high for a potential, you know, breakdown. And, right, for shorts, we've already taken data high candle. This candle right here to the left, right? All these, this data high, we took out data highs and we dropped heavily. So the question is, does it want to keep going up? Since it's already taken out that data high, possibly. Very likely. All right, starting to push. We haven't filled that imbalance yet though, so there we go. We just filled that imbalance. Let's see what happens when we break back into that 5-minute range. If I can get a gap to form in that 5-minute range, I would be interested in a long, possibly. I would have my stop pretty much right below these lows down here, kind of. Because once it breaks down these lows, it's gonna start looking ugly, meaning for... See what happens here. We just inversed that 1 minute gap, so it's a possibility we could start breaking for these highs. Wow, that was honestly not really expected, but let's see. Nope, no gap. I was seeing we could possibly get a gap set up here, but nope. Looks like it filled it. So nothing yet. Nothing yet. Right? You gotta be careful here. This could be you know, filling this gap and then bearish gap and then going lower. See, me personally, I like to buy at areas where it's very predictable. Or obviously not, it's not always very predictable, anything can happen, but where some, you know, trying to long at the top here is also kind of risky. Like either one could be at play. It's kind of, right now, it's kind of like a 50-50 toss-up. You really don't know. Nothing really is more likely to happen than the other. But there are times, right, where in the market, something is more likely to happen than something else. Meaning longs are more likely to go for that high versus the low. See it reaching all-time highs. See, that's a possibility too, yeah. Where's, how much room do we have for all-time high? How close are we? Are using indicators to have those lines appear to let you know we're in the 5... No, I just go on the 5-minute chart. I go on the 5-minute chart and I wait for that 5-minute candle to close and I just mark out the high and low of the 5-minute candle. Let me look real quick. Oh shoot, we are pretty close. Wow, I didn't notice that. Wow. We are pretty close to all-time high, so this thing could rip. There's a big chance actually. We're so close to all-time highs that this thing could want to push. We're very close. All-time highs 24,068. So 24. Let me mark this out real quick. There's pretty much all-time highs right here. See, we're not getting any, sucks, man. Not getting any gaps. There's not enough buying pressure to form any gaps. The toss-up. ES already took it? No way. Did it really? Yeah, I'm on the 1 minute right now. Uh-oh. If ES took all-time highs, this could be a... What's it called? It could be a divergence. I think I start dumping really hard, so be careful. See, we're back in that 5 minute range, but it's kind of just chopping. It's not giving any entries.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Alright. Come on. What's gonna happen? ES is looking scrumptious. For a short or a long? Question is, will NQ take all-time highs? Well, if ES already... Let me look. ES probably... If ES took all-time highs, this could... NQ could start dumping without taking all-time highs, which... Yeah. A dangerous area to get long here. I'm looking to make money, not give money away, so... Weird. All right, let me look at a different time frame. Let's see what's going on. Got to look at different higher time frames. All right, starting off with a 5 minute. All right, nah, we don't got much bullet. We don't got much gaps. We don't have any gaps actually. Bullish gaps that formed. What about the 15 minute? Nope. Kind of just whipsaw action up and down. 30 minute. 30 minute got a lot of. Well, that's the data. Or no, that's 9 o'clock. Hourly candle. So, tough to say. See, hourly chart, we're making higher lows on the hourly chart. So, it's tough. It's bullish on a higher time frame. Even if the trend is bullish, I'm seeing bearish setup to take. Yeah, it's very tough up here. So, like, when you have so many things telling you like, right? When you could look at a short and say a short's pretty good here, and then you look at a long and say, well, long's pretty good here too, because, you know, we're all-time highs are so close. This thing could want to go for all-time highs. But is it smart to long here? Probably not, since we're like at the top, right? You're in essence trying to buy at premium, trying to, you know, it's not. It's probably gonna have a retracement. So, or it starts breaking down below. Man, price action kind of, I don't know, man. Oh, maybe, see, we keep breaking in and out of that 5-minute range. Why is it so hot in here? Man, we're ripped. If I was to take a position, like something like this, right, where it's a little iffy, I would take a light position. Just, you know, if the setup is there. Just because it doesn't look the best, but if the setup is there, I would probably take a light position. Back into that 5-minute range. Caught that long from the gap. Yeah, this wasn't a bad trade right here. I mean, it's not my setup, but this long right off this gap worked out really well. Yeah, and we were at we were right above UOP. Yeah, that was not a bad long actually. We were right above UOP. So the gap was nicely positioned right above UOP, so you just kind of tapped right into it and then it ripped. Second TP hit. Yeah, this thing good. It's tough, man. Yeah, it could be going for all-time highs. It's it's likely. We're so close for all-time highs that 24,068 is all-time highs. So we're pretty freaking close. Or it dumps. No trade setup for me. I mean, sad so far. Maybe we get a setup. There, it's breaking out of those highs. Question is this going to be a sweep or... See if candles can close outside of this range. God candle. Yeah, this is a crucial area. If we start breaking above and start trending above this range, then we're looking good for all-time highs. But if it sweeps it, right, and starts dumping, then this could just be a sweep to go lower. All right, we closed above the range. Closed above it. Let's see what happens. Kind of rejecting off that pivot point, though. $15-minute. Yeah, we look like we want to go for those. I don't know, we'll see. Whatever the setup gives me, that's what I'll take, but as of now, I mean, could be potential shorts here. What's it gonna do? Alright, back into the range. This can get a nasty candle back down with a gap. I'll probably take a position. Probably short. We'll see what happens. Probably, if I do go in, probably light position. It's too early to mark anything out, so I'll just move my box. But, you know. Nasty candle back down. Let's see what happens here. This could be a... take a short, let's pray. I may take a short, actually. Maybe if it fills that imbalance. See, we'll see. Possible good short setup, maybe. I want a little bit more, you know, a retrace up to go short. There's some selling pressure trying to come in. I'm trying to go. I was looking to go short, but I'm not getting the entry again. Ugh, took that low. Gosh. I was looking for a retracement back into this gap right here for a short. But now that it's taken out this low, now I don't want to go short anymore because it could probably, once it comes back here, it could take out this high now. Oh, that sucks. Man, what a bummer. Maybe it still gets another. Problem is we got view up right there. Like, bruh. 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 See what it does. Broke down below that range. Now we're at view op, so interesting to see what it's gonna do here. Not getting the entries I wanted. I wanted to go short, but I wanted to retrace back into this gap for it to come lower and take out this low. It just went for that low without giving the retrace. Now, will he view up hold as support, or will it? It's just not my strategy. I look for very specific entries. So, oh man, it just kind of I hate that the range is so tight for today. The 5-minute range. That range is really tight. We're bouncing off view op. We have higher highs. Possibly, yeah. So here's the thing, right? I was looking for a potential. Once we got a closure above this gap and closed that heavy, and then we got this gap right here, I had my finger on the trigger to, you know, put the order right there. So now that it took out these lows, I don't want to short up here. See what happens. We're pushing back and we're just really chopping that range. We're chopping that range really bad. Ever trade Dow? No, I don't. We could be going back up to those highs. Bruh, NQ is like chopping like crazy today. Chop down. Yeah, that's why I said you got to be careful with view op. View op's a very big support level. So if you're trying to, you know, short, if you're already in a trade, that's different. But if you're trying to short where into view op is kind of dangerous. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're already in a trade, that's different. But you just got to pay attention, make sure that, you know. I typically don't like betting on, you know, it breaking through view op. Just because, look, a lot of times, look how many times it's bounced off of view op, you know. So I'll usually have my TP somewhere near view op. Yeah, apex and then take profit. $10.11. Yeah, this down candle. Yeah, that's what y'all got to be careful at highs. So it pretty much went up to these highs, it took out these highs, and then just completely reversed off those highs. It's crazy. Freaking crazy. But yeah, I'm trading right now 7 Apex accounts and 2 Take Profit Trader accounts. Here, give me a second. I'll be back in a second. All right, so like I was saying, yeah, I'm trading 7 Apex accounts and 2 Take Profit Trader accounts, and I'm copy trading both prop firms together. Take Profit Trader right now is 40% off, and they don't have activation fees, so that gets waived. So it's just evaluation, and if you pass it, you know, you get put in a funded account. You don't have to pay activation, no nothing. Apex, 80% off. The reason I like to Take Profit Trader accounts is because you can get to a level where you can take daily payouts off of them, which is pretty cool. So if you make, you know, $300-400 bucks in one day, you could take a payout the next day, and so on. You just keep going. For what? How much is the money for what? For Take Profit? Oh, if it's 80% off, what's the original? So with 80% off for Apex, 80% off for the evaluation, it's like $33 per account. $33 for the evaluation, and then you pass the evaluation, you get, and then but you for Apex you have to pay an activation fee, which is like 100 something bucks. But the cool thing about Apex, right? The first 25,000 you keep yourself. Like, there's no profit split. What I don't like about Take Profit Trader is we need to complete evaluations within 5 days. No, you don't. You don't have to pass them in 5 days. You have to take at least 5 days. Yeah. Which, you know, you just size accordingly. But you don't have to pass it in those 5 days. You have more than 5. You could take a whole month to pass it if you want to. It's just you have to trade at least 5 days. And then once you hit that 5th day, 6th day, then you can pass it. They just, I guess they don't want people passing it in 1 day, which Apex has, you know, I think 1 day to pass, so I don't know. I never do it though. What you want? What the hell? Yeah, I usually take you know, I usually take my time with my accounts. There's no reason to, you know, you buy an evaluation, you have a whole month to pass it before, you know, it gets renewed, the subscription. So, like, what's the point of passing it in 2-3 days? Like, why not just de-risk? So maybe you could pass it in 5-6 days. Like, 6 winning trades, you pass the account. So you have some wiggle room for... A short was perfect, but no retrace. Yeah, well, yeah. I like this short. This is this is what I look for, but it didn't give me the entry. I literally had my finger on the mouse to put an order in right here. So what I wanted it to do, right, when it closed back outside this range, closed back inside the range, it left that gap. What I was looking for price to do was come back up and kind of fill this imbalance and then start moving for these lows. But it just went for those lows. So once price took out these lows, at that point, right, I don't want to try to short up here, because once it takes out a level of liquidity, it could very likely go back up. And then once it goes back up to these highs, it could probably take out these highs. Are we gonna get a movement back up to those highs? Possibly. Dang. Apex, you know, Apex has paid out a lot of people. People, you know, don't really have problems with payouts with Apex. Unless you've taken out a crazy amount of money is what I haven't, but that's the problems I heard. If somebody's already taken out a crazy amount of money, then maybe you start to have some issues, but those are people who've taken out a lot of money. But no, Apex pays out. Apex is a very reputable prop firm. So you always want to go with popular prop firms. Don't go with these janky, no-name prop firms that nobody really knows about. Last thing you want to do is pass an evaluation, get it funded, pay for everything, you know, get to your payout, request a payout just to get denied, you know. Now, obviously, if you break rules with Apex, you're going to get denied a payout, and you just have to keep trading you have to keep trading another 8 days, and then the profits that you made within those 8 days, just request that payout, and then trade another 8 days, and then request the profits you got denied on. That's typically how should do it. If NQ takes out New York low, then I'm taking longs for sure. New York low? Where's New York low? Oh, New York low is way down there. Yeah, that's also data lows too. Pre-market, you mean? Pre-market low is data lows, so it's this candle right here. Right here is so a lot of, obviously there's going to be a lot of liquidity down there. This thing can potentially, looks like it wants to start curling back up. If it can give an entry, you know, I wouldn't mind taking it. Be honest, have you gotten an L recently? Last trade was an L. Yeah, but to the two or three trades before that were winning trades. So far during when I had these evaluations, I took one loss so far. One loss. And listen, if I went back, I would still take that trade. That trade was, according to my plan, it just didn't work out. It was just, statistically, it was one of those trades that was just, everything was good except it was a loss, which is going to happen. If we can get a bullish gap back inside that range, I would be interested in it. Potentially a long. We're just chopping here. I mean, we could go for those highs. That's the thing. It's like we're as of now, right? It's still market sentiment's bullish. Until we get below view op, that starts to look, you know, then it starts to look bearish, but as of right now, it's holding view op. It's holding all this support. Oh, gosh. TikTok's making me do the puzzle again. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Let me try to do this puzzle. Problem is my mouse is so sensitive, so get in the... it's just my computer is not meant for like live streaming, so... It's like a weird... I had that one time where I couldn't solve the puzzle because of my computer. What's your thoughts on Kirk's situation? Yeah, rest in peace to him. Prayers for his family. I can't imagine what, you know. The sad part is his wife and kids were there. Like, what kind of sick, twisted individual does that? Like, it's sad. It's sad that we can't have different opinions and people think that that's a solution. It's trying to take someone out. But what does that do? You're not silencing him, right? Like, it's the whole point of America, right? We can have different opinions. Should be able to, you know, just because if I talk to someone, just because I don't agree with someone else's opinion, it, you know, doesn't mean I'm gonna, you know, harm them or anything. Like, people are allowed to have different opinions. We are, it's America. We have different cultures. People come from different places, right? Different religions. It's sad. It's very sad that... I hope that guy gets what he deserves. I don't think they caught him yet. That's the crazy part. But apparently they have pictures and everything. So what they said they're gonna do is they're gonna try to analyze the pictures and everything and try to catch him. And if they can't find him, they're gonna release the pictures for the public to help. But one way or another, right? He's gonna get caught. It's just... Man, I was shocked. I was so shocked when I heard that happen, and then watching the video, just, and everyone, if you were on X, every person was posting the video. It's just like, it scars you. I mean, I probably saw that video like 30 times because everyone keeps posting the same video. Like, guys, like, have some respect. Like, everyone's posting it everywhere. Like, come on, guys. Oh, man. Yeah, that ruined my day. That absolutely, my whole day. Literally, my head was hurting all night yesterday. It's just like, you know, you get so much... When you get so much negativity in one day, it's just like your head starts to hurt. And But yeah, prayers go out to his family. That's sad. The thing about it is he was very respectful too, right? Like, he wasn't a person that would, like, you know, yell at you or you know, it was civil discussions. He never yelled. He never, you know, he never would really put someone down or anything, right? He was respectful to everyone's belief. Yes, he had a different opinion than most people, but he was respectful. The problem is, it's you know, it's a person that has mental problems that decided to do this to him. So... No person in his right mind would ever do that to someone else. So yeah, that's pretty much what I sad. Yeah, right before 9/11. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a... And there was a school shooting yesterday, or yeah, I think it was yesterday too. It's crazy. All right, let's see. There may be an entry here. Potentially take a long if we can. Let's see if I can. If we don't take out these highs, if we can retrace back to this gap, I'll probably take a long off this gap for those highs. But if we take out those highs after, right? If we take out the highs first, then I'm not going to take the gap. But if we can have a pullback before, I'll take it. It looks like we're pushing. Yeah, Colorado. And the people, like, the wild part is the people rejoicing off of this, like, are the most twisted and sick individuals of all time. Like, there is seriously something wrong with you if you rejoice over another person's, you know. I have to be careful what I say on TikTok. You need serious help. If you're someone who finds yourself rejoicing over stuff like this, please really evaluate your life, because you really need help. And this is, you know, I'm not saying this out of hatred towards you. I'm saying this out of love, because you really have something wrong with you. Man, we took out those highs. Gosh, what? Just that's the problem with these tight ranges, is you don't get the entry you want. They're so tight. They're so tight that, like, there was two setups and did not give me the entry. So right, like, now that it took out those highs, now I'm not interested in this. Like, could it retrace and still go higher? Yeah, but the fact that it already took out these highs, if it does retrace, it could go for these lows first before going up. So, right, my idea in this range was, right, we closed back into this range, started getting movement up, right? So it's confirming that it wants to go for those highs. And if it can retrace back to this gap, I can continue. I can take a trade off this gap for those highs. It may want to go for all-time highs. We could keep pushing, but it's like, it's the second trade already that I didn't get my entry. But we're going up probably for those. We're very close to all-time highs, so looks like price may want to go for those all-time highs. No, the things have an equal opposite reaction, and do my best to be a chill guy. I mean, that's true. You get what you get what you reap what you sow, pretty much. But he changed a lot of people's lives. He had a positive impact on families. He had a positive impact. A lot of people started going to church because of him. He got a lot of people into politics, especially the younger youth. So he had a very big positive impact on this country. And for someone to say that he didn't is absolutely ridiculous. He did not deserve any of that. Regardless, if you don't believe in someone's opinion, right? That doesn't mean that person is wrong. People have a thing of, if someone doesn't believe what I believe, then that person needs to be silenced. And that's a very bad mindset to have. It's a sick mindset to have. We're in America. We all come from different places, right? My family comes from Europe. Other people's families come from Africa. We're a very diverse country. And to try to silence someone for differing opinions, especially his opinions weren't, he helped a lot of people. He helped a lot of the youth. So he helped way more than these people that are rejoicing off of this. And that's the difference between him and a lot of these people, and all of these people that are rejoicing, is he left a legacy, right? He left a legacy and he won't be forgotten. Versus a lot of these people that are rejoicing, what will happen? Once they leave, their name will just be forgotten. That's the difference. So, I can't wrap my mind around it. Like, I don't know. It's... Yeah, your opinions aren't right or wrong. Like, for example, if my family comes from Europe, we may have different traditions and does that mean we're wrong just because we have different beliefs, right? A lot of people in Europe are very traditional. They come from traditional households, and does that mean they're wrong? No, they're not wrong. If you have a different opinion, right, you're allowed to have that opinion. That's the beautiful part about America. That's why a lot of people, come to America. And this is me from someone speaking. My family came from, family came from the former Soviet Union. I talked to my grandma. I talked to people who lived down there, where you couldn't, you didn't have freedom of speech. And the times were hard. People, risked their lives to come to this country. And the fact that we're trying to, silence people is wild. It's pushing. Yeah, he was talking about, I think he was talking about, gang violence, but, like, it puts this, like, heaviness on you. You know what I think? I think a lot of these, I think a lot of comments could be bots. Because that's what I've noticed, especially X and other platforms. You got to be careful with who you reply to on X and, all other platforms, because a lot of them could be bots. You could be arguing with a bot. So, it's best not to really engage in those. And if the person is actually real, they got something wrong with them. So... Alright, we're closing above the range pretty strong. Is all boys at this? Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how much bots there are. I think there's a lot of bots on X. I think so. So, even TikTok. Even TikTok has so much bots that you could be arguing with someone in the comments, and for all you know, you're arguing with a bot. Trust me, I've had that before. I actually had a situation in the live. Someone came into the live and was saying something, and I kind of... Right? I started disagreeing. We had this, like, little argument in the live. Later, I find out that dude was a bot. Because he left a comment. That same account left a comment. You know those financial bot comments where, oh, this person helped me get out. Like, this person helped me with my trading. And, like, obvious, like, bot comments. And that person left that comment, and I realized, I was like, bro, I literally sat there and I argued with a freaking robot. Gosh, that's a bummer we didn't get a freaking entry. Oh. I think it could be going for those highs. We still got room. The question is... it's like a pretty decent entry. But... Is it going to give you the retrace? When is news today? I don't think news, news is there's no more news. We got, there's 10:30 was like natural gas, but that doesn't matter for us, for the NQ. And there's like treasury budget at 2 p.m., but I don't even trade at 2 p.m., so I have no idea if that shouldn't really move the market, but. So now, right, if we broke out of the top of this range, we could hold this range. Man, that's the It's the hard part. Missing 2 entries in a row. I didn't miss them. I just didn't get they just didn't give me the entry I wanted. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, when it was at this point here, it's like there's a lot of reasons for this thing to want to go up potentially, and this thing could also, there's reasons for it to go down. But that's why you gotta wait for confirmations, right? Like this trade, for example, right? I was staying out of this whole thing. I only decided I wanted to take a trade once this candle right here closed. Once it closed up here, I'm like, all right, this thing probably wants to go for those highs. So I wanted my entry right there. So I was hoping that this candle would close, right? No, actually, was it? Yeah, that this candle would kind of like retrace back, fill me, and then rip up. And that would give me, you know, a good risk to reward. But, and same thing with this. Same thing with this. I wanted a retrace back into this gap to go for those lows. So although I had the right idea, I just did not have the right, you know, I mean, it did not give me the entry I wanted. Because if I enter right there, it would be 10, 20, 25 points. So 10, 20, 30, 35. So the risk to reward just doesn't make sense of entering right here. That's why I would want to pull back. Gives me a good risk to reward. And then we go. See, for me, for my strategy, typically when the range is bigger, when I have a bigger 5-minute range, I have more potential for profits. But when the range is that tiny, it's like, it kind of sucks, because although there is profit potential, right? Like, but it's just tougher. Gosh. Can't talk right now. Can't talk. Can't talk. Are we above? Oh, we're above. Yeah, we're trying to. It's a critical point. Like, do we break back into that range, or are we gonna hold the top of this range and potentially, you know, bounce off the top of this range? Because you got to look at it this way: price to continue going up, right? It's kind of trying to hold this as support. If they can't hold this as support, it's gonna go lower. Maybe start holding, you know, down here as support. If they can't find enough buyers to step in right here, right, they're just gonna go lower, and then maybe more buyers will step in here and try and push it up. I look at it as like supply and demand, right? In order for price to go up, like if a bunch of people started buying, price would start ripping up. Or, I mean, a huge, like, position size. Anytime there's more demand, price is going to go up. When you can't find the demand, price is going to go down. Oh, man. What a bummer. Some weird, like... We were pretty much ranging. Look, we opened up at what? Where was it? There's 10. We were just pretty much going sideways, which I don't mind. I really don't mind, because I can take scalps off of sideways action, but that's the hard part of trading. You gotta wait for price to come to you. Like, if price does not give you the entry you want for your risk to reward, then even though you kind of expect the trade to work out, like I was saying earlier, right? This trade right here, although at this point I figured like it's probably gonna want to go for those highs, but am I gonna get in right there even though I think it probably could go for those highs? The risk to reward is complete garbage. So why would I gotta wait for price to give me the right risk to reward and the right, you know, setup. Low liquidity, yeah, there is almost like trend line liquidity. You got all these lows kind of hanging around down here. You got data lows, you got this low. See, at this point it was making higher, it's making higher lows pretty much. So Until this thing breaks below VWAP and starts breaking down this low, it'll probably... Gosh. Until it breaks VWAP, starts breaking down below, and then maybe it's going to want to take out these lows, go for that data candle. Like, eventually, right, it's going to take out all those lows, but... question is when. Like, does it want to take out the high for the all-time high first? That's why I think this 5-minute range is so powerful. Like, right, you got to think about it. The first 5 minutes, right, we typically get so much volume step into the market the first 5 minutes. So that's why I really like trading within this 5-minute range, because you really get movement inside this range, right? Look at what happened, right? Look, we opened up. We don't get really any sideways action. So we opened up right here, 9:30, right? So here's the formation of that first 5-minute range marked out. Oh, sorry, hold on. So we get that first formation of this 5-minute range right there. So look what happens, right? When price breaks into this 5-minute range, look, it pretty much shoots for those highs. And then look, it breaks back into that range. Look, it goes right for those lows. Chops a little bit right here, but then when it really enters the range, it goes for those highs. So you really get a lot of movement inside this 5-minute range. You don't get this, like, you see down here how you had this like very choppiness. Most of the time in this 5-minute range, we got pretty decent moves up and down. So that's why I like the 5-minute range. So see, now we broke outside the 5-minute range, but if we break back inside this 5-minute range, who knows? This thing could start going for those lows again. So that's the first candle closed back inside the range. And then that's why I look for a bearish gap as a confirmation that it potentially could want to go for a low. But the gap, for me, my rule is the gap has to be inside the range. Like here, how it closed. Like here, how it closed back inside this range. It left this bullish gap. The gap has to be inside the range. It can't be outside the range. So like I want to go short here. Gap was inside that range. So it gives you a really good risk to reward if price can... See what I'm talking about? Look, price closed back inside that range and we're starting to get movement. Like, we really don't get much like sideways action. I mean, sometimes you do, but you get a lot of volume in that range. Look at that. Now the question is, right, is it gonna... Although there technically is a setup here, I don't like it because we have a support. We have like an order block right there. This thing could bounce off this order block and then rip right back up. But see what I'm talking about? Look what happened when it closed. That first candle that closed back inside the range, you just got a movement right back down to the bottom of that range. Gosh, yeah, there was some decent couple two good trades today, but oh man, there's just a lot of support down here to really take a long off of. Curious to see if it works, but I personally don't want to take it just because I don't know. I don't like. See, I don't like that there's a order block type down here. which I know right in the back of my mind, I know this could be support right here. So me trying to short back into an order block is kind of not smart, right? Because this thing could start ripping back up. It could have just finding support at that order block. Now it could reject, but like I probably would take this if it wasn't for this order block down here. Yeah, today's a very big guessing game. It's very sideways. But the general rule of thumb, especially like if you're a newer trader, right? If we're above VWAP, we're generally pretty bullish if we're above VWAP. So that's why, like, if you're trying to short above VWAP, you got to make sure that you're not shorting right into VWAP. Like, shorting and then VWAP is right below where you're shorting is kind of risky because it could likely bounce off of VWAP. Wow, this actually ends up being a decent trade. Gosh, looks like I should have taken that trade. Of course, the one setup it gives me and I don't take, it ends up working out. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I just did not want to take this just because of the VWAP is right there too, so there's just too much support in this area for me to take a short. And the risk to reward isn't the best. Like my target would have to be down there. So target would have to be down there, which is below VWAP. So it kind of sucks. I just know there's going to be a lot of sideways action here. Could you show this right here? So you can see how we kind of made a high and then we broke down below and then we broke out of it. So this kind of like, this becomes support, right? This becomes a pretty heavy support level in my, like, right in my eyes. And you can see what happened when we came down. When we came down, we took a pretty decent sized bounce off of it. I especially like when my entry aligns with like for example, right? If I'm trying to take a long and VWAP is below here, we have a lot of support down here. It makes me so confident in my trade that like, okay, we're bouncing off VWAP. I'm getting my setup. Like everything is working out so nicely. But like this, my TP would have to be right these lows here. And the risk to reward is just complete garbage. It doesn't make sense for that risk to reward. I would be risking, right, 10, 20, 35 points to make what? 10, 20, like 15, 20 points. It makes no sense. Wait for a 15-minute fair value gap to form, and you can look for sells. That's a option too, yeah. My strategy is really like the 5-minute orb, meaning the 5-minute range. So my strategy is price closing above that 5-minute range, like here, closing back inside the range, leaving a gap, and I take an entry off the bearish gap. So that's why I tried to take a long here, because price closed below this, right? Price closed below it here. And then we closed back inside it, leaving a bullish gap. So that's why I tried to take a long here. Like, although, right, it did close back inside, leaving a gap, but there's too much support down here for me to take a short. The risk to reward just doesn't make sense. So, and I'm not going to risk, 30 points to make 10 points. Although it does work out, but is it really worth it? How much did you make so far today? I didn't take any trades yet. It hasn't given me what I wanted. Right? I wanted a short here and never gave me the retracement back to take a short. I wanted a long here and it never retraced back to this gap to give me a long. So price just didn't give me what I was looking for. That's how it be sometimes. It's fine. I still get satisfaction from being able to, like, even though it doesn't give me the retrace, but the trade ends up working, it just doesn't give me the entry I want. It's still satisfying to be able to predict price. And predicting something like this, like having that discretion that even though, and this is also another difficult part about trading, right? Just because your strategy sets itself up, like having the discretion of, I don't like this just because like there's too much support like this, even though it was the strategy. And this is why I think like coding a strategy doesn't necessarily work. It's very hard because there comes a level of discretion. Like if I was to code this strategy for a bot, right? The bot would take this trade because it's the strategy. But the reason I didn't want to take this, right? There's just too much support down here. Right, we have kind of a support right there. We have view op. We have the 200. It's not worth it. And that level of discretion comes from, you know, experience in trading it every day, getting burned, and then realizing. That's why you have to learn from your mistakes. And if you wait for just the good setups and don't take the dumb trades. And the good thing, if you take a good setup and you take a loss, you could be fine. You don't have, you know, you're not angry, you're not nothing, because it's just part of your strategy. You're gonna take losses. See, so we're pushing. It looks like price really we keep making higher lows, right? Look, I'll zoom it in. Look what's going on here. Ever since the data candle down here, right? We made a low. Boom. We made a higher low. We made a higher low. We're making another higher low. So you can see just, you know. Interesting. Looks like we want to go for that. Looks like we want to go for these all-time highs up here. But 15-minute gap. Is there really a gap on the 15-minute time frame? Yeah, there's no gaps, but obviously gaps on a higher time frame are gonna hold more weight. They're, you know. That's why you always kind of want to have a higher time frame analysis, meaning you want to see what's going on higher time frames to get you like look at the, for example, look at the hourly chart, right? Like look at this. Looks pretty freaking bullish to me, right? Pretty bullish. Even today, look at that. Data candles. We still made a higher low. This thing still looks on a higher time frame. This thing still looks like it wants to keep going up. Now, right, could you go short? You could if, you know, it fits your strategy and you're taking a quick scalp. But you got to kind of understand that if you are taking a short, it's got to be a quick scalp. It can't be like holding for, because just the structure is showing that we want to potentially keep going up. But at the same time, we had a lot of conflicting, you know. Today was a lot of conflicting stuff going on. Long started to look kind of good. Shorts kind of looked good for a scalp. So I tried to take a scalp here, right? Just take a quick scalp into this liquidity down here. But yeah, so I'm gonna, man, I think I'm gonna hop off. I think that's it for me today. I don't see another setup. I think it's just gonna keep ripping for those highs. And it's 11 o'clock, so we're gonna start to kind of slow down here. Well, sucks that it didn't give me the entries I wanted, but that's a part of trading. It's capital preservation, right? Like backtesting my strategy, I understand that there could be days where I just don't take a trade, and I have to be fine with that. to not mess up the, you know, if I just go take a dumb trade right here, it just messes up the strategy. It messes up my data, messes up everything. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we get some good setups tomorrow again. Hopefully it actually gives me an entry and not just rips without me. I don't know, it's been doing that lately. But yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Don't take any dumb trades. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. So see ya. Peace out.